one of the biggest challenges we're facing right now is just related to change and the sheer rate of change that's needed for us to address the challenges ahead of us. As part of that, we're introducing a lot of new fuels into the equation, and these new fuels often have a very different risk profile than the conventional fuel oils that we have a long history of working with. So obviously one of the bigger challenges that we face is we need to address the fact that we're going to have a lot more vessels out on the seas that are carrying more hazardous materials than we've seen in the past. As part of that, we certainly need to make sure that our seafarers are prepared, that they understand the risks associated with those new fuels, and that all levels of our maritime industry are prepared to deal with the results of that. Everything right from the fueling standpoint right through to emergency response. Certainly a lot of new skill sets will be required because we're introducing a lot of new fuels and associated systems into their workplace that they won't have necessarily had exposure to before. So obviously understanding the risks, the properties and other hazards associated with these fuels is of key importance. Knowing what safeguards are there to protect them and the limits of those safeguards are highly important. But I'll say as well that from a human factors standpoint, one of the ways that we can help keep people safe is by giving some separation between them and the hazards. And so another skill that'll be really important for seafarers to have in their arsenal will be a change in mentality, away from necessarily being hands-on in troubleshooting systems and be more comfortable with remote operations and also with utilizing and understanding data related to a system. This is something I'm really passionate about because I fear that as an industry we put too much focus on just training and competency when it comes to the human element, and really we need to balance out the need for competent staff and seafarers with a recognition that we must design our ships, our systems, our equipment with humans in mind, because ultimately the most skilled seafarer is going to have challenges if they are faced with a system that is not designed well. And I think that that is the big opportunity we have right now as we're redesigning systems, bringing in new pieces of technology, is really making sure that those new technologies are designed in a human-centric way and not as it's been done in the past, maybe as humans there to serve the equipment. So there's good news in all of this, because really we need to recognize we're not starting from scratch here. We've got decades of experience in handling and working with LNG aboard vessels that we can leverage. We've been shipping ammonia globally for quite some time. Adapting that to using ammonia as a fuel will build upon that expertise. And even when we think about gases and fuels like hydrogen, we have to expand our reach, look beyond the maritime industry where we don't necessarily have the experience, and identify the sectors that have been using these fuels for a considerable period of time. And really, if we pull together all of the expertise that we have, this multidiscipline level of expertise, then we're going to be really well positioned to be able to safely handle this energy transition. A review of the STCW code, which is Standards for Training, Certification and Watchkeeping, is due in 2027. But thankfully the IMO has realized that changes are needed sooner rather than later. And as part of that, the IMO, in collaboration with the Lloyd's Register Foundation, has funded a program called the Maritime Just Transition Task Force. And that task force is really bringing together collaborators from across the industry to get different perspectives on the challenges, with the aim of ensuring that our seafarers are enabled and very well prepared for the challenges that are ahead of them relating to alternative fuels.